Sorry. Wait. Stop. I'm recording also. Okay. Fine. Okay. No, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Lockdown Conversations with me, Hunmir Syed. First of all, thank you so much for the wonderful feedback that you guys gave for Viraj's episode. A lot of people did comment on how Viraj has been an inspiration to so many people and budding entrepreneurs per se. So, and sorry, come on, yeah, you can do yeah. I can't concentrate.
Hi, my name is Arvind, and this is episode number 3 of Lockdown Conversations. Your host is Kunmir Syed, and I am his friend. One day, we intend to start an agency called Syed and Sundar. Most likely, it's never going to happen, but we still like to have this as a dream that we will dream of and talk about while we dance to the song Smoke Sheesha, Play FIFA.
Uh, thank, thank you, Arvind, for that lovely introduction.
Shisha, play FIFA. Ay. Even in the car. Smoke shisha, play FIFA. While we chilling at the bar. Smoke shisha, play FIFA. Ay. We do it with hummus. Smoke shisha, play FIFA.
You through a little story. So way back in 2012, when I was working for Ogilvy, we were working on a project for IBM. This was called League of Socials, and it was quite futuristic. In fact, considering those days when Facebook was just on the verge of becoming famous, and a lot of development was going on that sphere. So we went and we pitched it to the client. This person sold it thoroughly, but he also promised to code it, write copy for it, and design it himself, which was the problem in the deadline that we were given. Right. So one day during the late nights, I was just passing by, and I see this person just lying on the floor. That's how I met Arvind Sundarajan. Arvind, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kudmir. That's quite the introduction, but evidently that's the first time you saw me, not the first time I saw you. So, gents and ladies and other people of his ilk, I am Arvind Sundar, and the first time I met Kudmir Syed, he was holding something very valuable in his hands. We were in the washroom. And after he had finished his business, I met him while he was washing his hands, of course. And I think that was the wonderful beginning. It's a very clean start. I really like that. And our friendships lasted almost a decade. Oh, wait, no, it's more than a decade now. So yeah, kudos.
Yeah.
So that happened. We survived, and quite a clean start, don't you think, Kuru?
Yeah, absolutely, Gundu. Gundu is his name that he used to sort
Was
What's
that
your
was
name?
about 5 kilos ago.
You
And
want to explain the
years
story
ago.
behind Gundu Dada?
I really wish there was something very deep and very I know memorable about the story about why I'm called Gundu, but I'm obese, and my sister called me Gundu, which is a Tamil word to mean fat. So yes, I'm a fat guy, and what else do I like? How is this like a Karan Johar show or more like a whose
No,
line is it anything?
I don't know
I
what
mean,
it is right now. So it's
I
it's
can
just
I can talk about
experiment.
my stress eating, or my very colorful childhood, or we could just talk about vegetarian shawarmas,
Okay,
whatever you take. But
let me do one thing. Let me ask you the questions.
I
Okay, we
think
can
that's
do one.
best.
Yeah. So, Arvind, ladies and gentlemen, has been a lecturer, a voiceover artist, a social media strategist, a copywriter, a life coach, and the list kind of goes on. So every time I talk
17
to him,
items.
sorry,
Yes,
what was it?
17 items, if I recall correctly. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Arvind, you've had a very interesting childhood.
Mhm.
So why don't you tell us how that has helped you and how that has taught you a lot of things, and for where you are right now, how that has helped you in that sense.
All right. I was born in Chennai, right? Long time ago, it was 35 years ago. And I've lived, as Kudmir said, one of the most interesting lives possible. every single year, I have either studied in a different school or in a different city. My dad was in charge of Asian expansion. That sounds so naughty. He was in charge of Asian expansion for Ranbaxy Pharmaceuticals, and consequently, I had the good fortune or misfortune, I don't know what it is, of changing the place where I was studying and living every single year. I've studied in cities such as Guangzhou. I've studied in Hong Kong. I've studied in Kuwait, and pretty much every single year, because of the nature of my dad's work, I changed schools. I got double promoted twice, and to set my ego right, I flunked once. And
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so huh?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I flunked LKG. I didn't know such a thing was possible until I did. Of course, my life is definitely one of many firsts, such as flunking LKG. But the point is, lived in many different places, experienced many different cultures. Ended up in Bangalore in 2002, and I got what was that? I was doing chemical engineering so long ago in from BMS College, and then again got into IT. I've done all of that. But speaking of my childhood, yes, that's definitely like the craziest life I've ever had. I made my first friend in engineering. His name is Nanda Kishore. Hi, Machi. If you're watching this, please go eat some basmati rice.
Okay,
Yes. Back to you, Kudu.
right. So from there, you moved on to advertising, right? So from engineering to advertising. Not
Not
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations on this story has passed. So I still remember that I was in college, final year, and my version of the story goes like this. I had a Royal Enfield Thunderbird, the first of its kind. I had modified it to have like a much bigger petrol tank, and I had the butterfly handlebars, right? So built like a chopper. I was quite happy with it, and I was actually strong enough or skilled enough to actually pop wheelies with it. Of course, I would need a little bit of help from, like a yeah. Anyway, I was popping that, and I was caught by my vice principal. And let's say one thing led to another, and there might have been a girl behind me. I don't quite remember. And I got into a lot of trouble. I was debarred from placements, and I put on the best show of my life at that time. Wove some of the
Like you
best
always
stories.
do. Like you always
That's our little secret, Kudu.
do.
Anyway, I convinced the principal to give me one shot at a company after the snafu that I had set up for myself. And one chance became two and three. I ended up cracking a company called Tesco, HSC. I
Oh,
worked
yeah.
there as a developer. I quit, and I came back. I worked at Tesco again, and I was sent abroad. I came back again. I quit, and I've led a very interesting career. If I had to
Yeah.
highlight,
Yeah.
from right after college, I have done stuff such as this is one of the 17, right? Web development, that's there. I've been a designer. I've been an MC. I've been a copywriter. I've been a social media guy. I was one of the people who actually helped launch the Tata Gold Plus Nano, believe it or not, in India.
How
I
was
was
that?
working with this company. I forget. It was a two-bit operation. It's run by the guy who now heads the KRDS, Preetham Venki,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And Hari Nair, our friend as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Hari.
that's where I met Hari as well. So I was
Okay.
a part of that. And apart from that, I've done voiceover work. I've done narration. I've done script writing. I have done making sandwiches. I've done jhadu pocha. I have done delivery services back when, before Swiggy and Zomato and whatever, like all of these services that we have now. That was there. I worked at Subway making sandwiches. That was in the UK. I worked in a store stocking shelves. I've done that. I've been a um, teacher and a trainer. I've worked at Jaipur Institute of Management, where I used to teach marketing. I have done I've actually done like improv. I've done storytelling. I've
Wow.
done, yeah. I mean, the list goes on.
The
But
list goes on. Yeah.
there's some of the things that I've done. So yeah.
So, how did you get into advertising? What was? Yeah.
Okay, that's not what you want to ask. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I mean, in terms of Ogilvy Social. So, how was your entry into
Ah,
Ogilvy Social? Right? So, how did that happen?
so what I was doing, how I got into Ogilvy was this is what 2010, 11,
10.
right?
Yeah. 10.
2010.
Yeah.
I just come back from Manchester. I had done my master's there
Yeah.
in corporate communications and reputation management. I managed
Mhm.
to get into P&G, but I got the shit kicked out of me by some people. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want to be there. I came back. There might have been a little bit of, how do I say, a mismatch between my expectations of what I wanted to do and what was actually coming through.
Okay.
Came down to Bangalore and I was working as a trainer. I was giving speeches. I was training students and all that. And I got this opportunity at Christ University, where I was on a panel with somebody from Google, somebody from Yahoo, and somebody from Ogilvy. One, I think her name was Rachna, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Excuse me. And at that time, I was also on the panel. We were talking. Rachna was impressed. She's like, "Hey, you should totally come in." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, why not?" Right? I mean, everybody needs to make some money. A big shout out to my wife at this point, because I had been I was married at 2010.
Yeah.
I was
Child marriage.
unemployed, and I think my father-in-law might have called the cops on me. And but despite all that, my wife deigned to marry me, so I am one hell of a lucky guy. Now that the mandatory plug is over, what I wanted to say was, when I did come into Ogilvy for the interview, I sat outside in the reception waiting for somebody to interview me. I sat there like the entire freaking day. Okay. The
Okay.
entire freaking day. There was
Was it a walk-in? Like you just randomly walked in? Was that?
No. She'd given me, I'd set up an interview and all that.
Oh,
And
okay.
there were two of my friends, Giant and Dave Dulal Das.
Yeah.
He was my first boss at Ogilvy, one of the nicest people I know now. But
Yeah,
back then,
absolutely. Dave's is fabulous.
yeah, he just made me wait for the entire freaking day, and Giant, obviously he was from this place called Dhanbad. So if I could actually talk about a stereotype, that would not be enough to describe Giant. But he was like one of the most laid back, most he's this sort of dude, right? So
Yeah.
I walk in at the end of the day, and then they're like, "Oh yeah. Sorry, man, I forgot and all that." The interview happens. He's like, "Acha, chalo. Now we'll go to the studio." I'm like, "Dude, first day." Like, "Yeah, it's okay, come." And the first day, I actually remember I worked from technically I was there at the office from like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is my first stint with advertising, right? I thought yes, it was going to be like a corporate and all that. I'd seen Dave walk in. He was wearing like chappals. He had like this whole rock.
Oh yeah.
Rock star hairstyle. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Turned out that he was my new boss, right? So from 8:30 in the morning to like 3 in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting in the studio, and I still remember all I had to
first
do.
day.
Yeah, first day. And I was just watching. I'm like wondering what the hell is happening, right? I still remember. I went and got chai. I still got pizza from the Pizza Hut. It was in that Domlur area, right? So fun days. That's how I got into advertising at Ogilvy. Before that, I used to work with this company called Rasters Media Integrated.
Okay.
For a short while, I was trying to do sales as well as copywriting there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting, Arvind. And from advertising, you spent a couple of years in various other agencies, and then what made you move from there to starting something on your own?
Maja, to be honest, the reason I quit Ogilvy was because they moved to Whitefield. Okay, any sensible Bangalorean, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, screw that shit. I'm not going to be doing that, right? So I'm like, screw that. Let's find something else. And right after that, I tried to start off a coffee business with my dad, right? So my dad's into like coffee and barista and stuff like that, right? How do you make blends and roast stuff and all that? That's his shtick. So we thought we'd do that. We got like the packaging, and I used all my advertising expertise. We'll be putting this together, and we're like, let's sell coffee. And then we go there, then we realize like the amount of like the official stuff is one thing, but then there are a lot of gatekeepers, a lot of bribing, and a lot of all this stuff that we were not willing to do. Right, we're not willing to pay the table stakes. That was happening. So we're like, no, screw that. And then I became, I think we worked there as well, Pixel Mavericks. That's interesting place with very interesting people.
Yeah.
I actually have some gossip on those people, but maybe we should take that offline. B&M got married. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Where was I? Yeah, so I did that, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be going something else. I forgot where I was going with this, but your question was, how did you get into entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, yeah. So, dude, I've had I think 4 attempts. This is my 4th attempt at entrepreneurship, guys. Okay, first attempt was in college. I tried to run something called Campus Gurus.
Yeah.
I knew it was official because I had like a visiting card printed. Okay, I'm like, yeah, I have that. I still remember I'd made it with clip art and all that shit.
Yeah.
And my entire thing was, there was these best manager competitions in college, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm really good at that. I'm going to be teaching people about how to do this because I used to win that stuff like left, right, and center, right? And I'm like, I'm going to be teaching people this. Again, there is so much of stuff that happens beyond the scenes, right? Behind the scenes, not beyond the scenes. And I was thinking like, Macha, I think that's been like my biggest lacking most of the time, the sort of commercial awareness of what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I'm
because
happy to say that I finally understand what's happening.
see, because
But,
as much as I know you, you're very good with the creative side of the
yeah,
business.
yeah,
But when it comes to business, I think you've learned that from where you were to where you are right now. So I think,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
One hell of a journey. So that was number one. Number two, I ran something called Fluid Fire Creatives. And
Okay.
number three was us
Well,
running Grok
yeah,
Communications.
yeah, yeah.
That's GROK, not GROPE. And then now it's something called Epic Career Labs. Yeah.
Okay, so coming to Epic Career Labs, and Put the Player First was also
Yes.
is one of the initiatives which is related to that.
It's still there right now. Yeah.
I remember that being Idea Labs first, right? So, what is it all about? Tell us what.
Right. So before this, it was called Domination Labs, and the whole idea was, look, after my stint and my career in an agency, right, I moved on to marketing roles. I moved on to sales roles. I kind of understood, and this is going to be coming as a shocker, and you probably know this, right? But it's going to be coming as a shocker to most people in an agency. The work that was done in agency at that time is right now like a fraction of what's actually something that an entrepreneur actually cares about, business cares about. Advertising is important, brand is important, all that.
So this you're talking particularly from a point of view of an entrepreneur, right? Like a startup guy who's.
I am talking about this from the perspective of somebody who was in advertising, who's come out of advertising, gone client side, and after client side, risen up the ranks. I exited my typical professional career as a CMO, head of marketing, and now I'm running my own business. Advertising is important, right? But the beast that we were in is very, very so it's a small part of what's actually important, right? For advertising at that time was all about how does this copy look like? How does this art look like?
Yeah.
But now it's got to be more about solving business problems.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's an entrepreneur thing.
Agree.
Right? What does the customer want? That's what we got to give. So that's what happened.
But do you think?
I gave up.
Okay. Do you think it's important now for agencies? Because I remember when we started Grok, it was obviously we tried to position it as a storytelling agency, but India's first storytelling agency. Essentially,
yes,
we were doing social media marketing, strat, and all of this as well.
Yes, we were.
We were, but how important is it for agencies to differentiate themselves now? Considering that you've been on both sides of the business.
Right. I'm going to be, if it's okay with you, I would like to dissect why Grok kind of failed on us. Are you?
Go ahead.
Are you brave enough?
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. We both sucked at what we did. Okay. I'll tell. Let me unpack that before this becomes a viral. Yeah. No, the thing is, like when we were looking at the craft and when we were looking at business development, right? I believe that we were good at what we did. Okay. We had a very unique angle and that definitely opened doors for us. I mean, that's how we were actually able to start up and wind up safely and successfully. Okay. But the thing that we made the mistake with was the fact that we were just focused on what we were doing. But that's the same question that you asked, right? Apart from just saying that we are India's first storytelling agency and perhaps trying to build that brand story for maybe 2 or 3 brands, we were still a run-of-the-mill agency for anybody else. Even though we wanted to quote a premium, what happened was we did not have the wisdom. This is 4 or 5 years ago, right? To communicate that to prospective clients.
Right.
When we looked at that, like, I mean, if you and we started this thing again, I'm pretty sure we can kick ass, okay? Because we know what needs to be done. But what I'm saying is at that time, we were not smart enough. And clients, right? In our clients' heads, we were not differentiated enough. And I think that's perhaps going to be the biggest challenge anybody's going to be looking at. Think about anything that's happening, right? It could be agencies, it could be app development companies, it could be any of these guys. They are all commodities, okay? They're all commodities. But still, we still have brands like Aquafina and Bisleri and Kinley and whatever. How is that possible? All of them, they differentiate each other just on the basis of the stories that they're saying.
Right.
I think that's going to be the key thing. And look, this is not something that's just for agencies or companies or something, even for individuals. Like this very thing that you're doing, The basic fact, right, that you are doing lockdown conversations
Right.
when there are like about 99 million other people who could be doing it but are not, setting you apart. Right? We understood the stuff. Well, I mean, we knew how to apply, it, but we never applied it to ourselves. And that's the biggest Achilles heel that pretty much every agency has.
Right. Right. So are you using that now with your fourth startup?
Of course, my dear friend. Of course, I'm using it. I do face a particular challenge, right? Where because I'm trying to run both a B2B thing as well as a B2C thing, right? My B2B thing is called Put the Player First, puttheplayerfirst.com,
Okay.
which is essentially a gamification and user experience consultancy. What I'm doing is right now I'm consulting with 2 clients. And what I do for them is I'm looking at their user experience and seeing how it can be streamlined. Okay. And my fundamental philosophy there is put the player first. And there's like an entire process that I built out over there, right?
Right.
It's an elevation of, or it's an iteration of human-centered design. But now you're also adding in joy and motivation into the experience, right? That's the difference between why one app works and another one is just like a clone, and that doesn't necessarily take off. Of course, there are other things that we can unpack and look at that. That's number one. That's what I'm doing in terms of gamification and user experience.
Right.
That's my B2B kind of thing.
Right.
On the B2C side, shit's hit the fan. Okay. Coronavirus is here and everything. Wait, can you bleep that out or is that okay?
Why? It's okay.
It's off in the wind. All right. I meant like special high intensity training, right? That's obviously hit all the fans. That's what I meant by that particular word. Anyway, like stuff's hit the fan, and you have the coronavirus, you have the work from home, and then now suddenly companies are looking at cost cutting.
Yeah.
The US is laid out like 20.5 million people. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even know what that is in Indian numbers, right? I don't know, like 2 crores or something. Yeah, anyway, the point is this, right? Like, I mean, everything's just going to be coming down crashing, and the world as it's going to be coming to us, I feel that, especially like, stuff like copywriters. Look, with my hair and the way I'm talking, I'm sounding like a crazed lunatic, but hear me out, okay? The point is that the way the world is going, right? Like we have AI, we have automation, there's a website, and I have a couple of my friends from college who are now in the US. They're working on these AI systems which can actually write entire books and reports and blog articles and novels and poetry, all that stuff. That what is going to be happening to writers like me? What's going to be happening to other copywriters and content writers in the market?
Right.
That's not all. There's AI-powered design. There's AI-powered website development. Grid.io was a concept that was like a flash in a pan. I don't know what they're doing right now, but that is a website which will adapt itself basis whatever the users want, right? So it's like a personalization, and it's like catering to the customer of an audience of one. Okay, that's like some insane level stuff that humans can't match. But what we as humans need to do is kind of figure out what is the stuff that we can do to survive in an increasingly crazy, chaotic, very volatile, very complex, very uncertain and ambiguous.
Especially in these times, right? So how are you surviving? How are you coping up with that? How's your company doing that?
Because you're my friend, I'm going to be sharing almost all of my secrets. See, at the heart of this is a concept of transformation. Okay. And the stuff I'm going to be saying, the next 5 sentences are going to blow all of your collective minds. Okay.
Okay.
Before that, since I have all of your attention, please visit Epic Career Labs.
No plugs. No plugs on my show.
That's not a plug. This is how I'm going to be saving these people. All right. Here's the thing. Okay. Rule number 1. Nobody gives a bleep about you. Okay. Get that right. Number 2, improvement does not work. Improvement does not work. Okay. What you need is transformation. Okay. This might sound like hokum, but hear me out, right? If the foundation is like rotten, for you to build more and more on that is a sure shot recipe for failure. So don't bother with improving. What you want to do is kind of approach the same problem from a different angle. And at the heart of this lies the concept of transformation. Now, I'm a big fan of stories, and I believe that like one of my personal mantras is to always do the stuff that's going to be giving you the better story. And my love, my fanaticism for stories led me to the work of this gentleman called Joseph Campbell. He's written this book called A Hero with a Thousand Faces. He's done a lot of lectures, but the essence of his work can be condensed. One of the key essences of his work can be condensed into something known as the monomyth. It is also known as the hero's journey, and it's a structure for how a hero starts off in a broken world, gets a call to adventure, goes off on a journey, on an adventure with the help of a mentor. They face the evil, they have these boss fights, and then they come back as a changed person with a reward. Okay, this is me distilling like a 800-page book into 7 seconds.
800.
But
By the way, ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, he's an avid reader. At the last section, we have a couple of questions for him on books.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the heart of all of this is transformation. And when I looked at that, right, as to, hey, if this is the transformation thing, how can I apply to other places? I realized that this is where my commercial sense finally kicked in. This transformation can be applied to anything. And one of the things that people should be spending money on is their own careers, right? So what I've done is I've taken this concept of transformation, I've taken the concept of careers, and I've kind of merged them, right? That's what I'm doing at Epic Career Labs. I'm teaching people how to transform themselves from like using the power of stories, right? So helping people find direction, I'm helping them get clarity on what needs to be done and actually succeed.
Is it just careers, or is it life in total?
See, the concept of transformation works anywhere. Like if you go to epiccareerlabs.com/map, right? That step-by-step process is there. It's all yours, right? Just take it off. I don't care. Use it. But if you understand that concept, one of the key things that you need is a mentor. Okay. This mentor is the one who's going to be taking you from a broken world into this new world where your transformation can happen. That's where you face your demons, you destroy your beasts, destroy all these things that are plaguing you, and then you come back with this newfound wisdom. That is the reward, which then you have to then apply back in your new life. For that, you're going to be needing a mentor. You can definitely go ahead and do it, right? It's not rocket science. But if you need help, I'm here.
Amazing. And Arvind, you've always believed in the philosophy of giving a lot more before you can actually capture the customer, right? So I've noticed even not just this website that you have right now, which is the Epic Career Labs, even the earlier ones had like free ebooks for that matter to get into your newsletter, right? So can you just tell our audience on would you still believe in newsletter marketing per se, or the new way of probably getting information? Like, for example, how do I get your attention before I actually?
Brief marketing lesson. There are 3 kinds of media channels: paid, owned, and earned. That stuff hasn't changed. The key thing is, wherever you're going to be collecting your customers, your audience, your tribe, whatever you want to call them, you do not want a gatekeeper between you and your audience. The safest place to do that as of now is an email list. There are other options such as a Telegram group, but I don't know how that's going to work out. Personally, I'll place my bet with email marketing. What I do is I have a very, very personalized approach to email marketing. This is how I do it. And in fact, I fought with HubSpot over this. I laughed at their customer service or sales rep saying they're like, you don't know how to do email marketing. I'm like, no, you don't know. Anyway, the point is this. People, okay, when they're, look, before I go further with the story, I wanted to go on record that I have, on an average, about 33% open rates. Okay. And I have a list. Yeah. And apart from my hair being unmanageable, I also have a list size of upwards of almost 8,000 people now.
Yeah, that's because you have some controversial subject lines as well, which
yes. Why you should never eat your baby. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think another one of my favorite lines was, I suffer from premature ejaculation. Except when you go into the dictionary, you realize that one of those words has a different meaning. Anyway, speaking of email marketing, I don't like, the reason why I go with email marketing is, one, there is no gatekeeper. I can take my email list from one person to another service provider. That's one. 2 is I use the double opt-in method, right? So that means that people have consciously chosen to listen to me. That's number 2. Number 3, the way I actually create these emails is very, very different. And subject lines, of course, you have to do a lot of testing for that. But the structure of the mail is, I have a personal story, and that's how I start off with. And then I have a transition. I take one aspect of this personal story, I pull that thread out, and then I connect that to the stuff that I want to sell. Believe it or not, in almost every single email I'm sending out, I'm selling something.
Mm.
And my customers, they want to learn more and more. Of course, I didn't learn this all by myself. I've been doing a lot of studying, and believe it or not, I learned a lot of this stuff by studying the old school copywriters, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking stuff like oh god, Gary Benjamin, or Ben Settle, or
Mm.
scientific advertising by Claude Hopkins,
Mm.
or the Boron letters. All these are like old school
Old
copywriting stuff,
school.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
AWAI.
Yeah.
If you guys know what that is, or if you don't know, just Google for AWAI, American Writers Association, something, I don't know. They have these courses, right? So where you actually learn how to write copywriting like a pro, like how do you handle objection, how do you handle bullets, like the stuff that I used to call copywriting when I was at Ogilvy was absolute drivel compared to what I can write right now.
Mm.
So
Mm.
the mere fact that the reason if you go for email marketing as opposed to other stuff, like you're not competing with about like 3 million others. When I'm writing emails, people want to open those emails, right?
Right.
And that's like the best thing any marketer could ask for, as opposed to like spending money on your Facebook ads and your Insta ads. I'm not mocking that. Those are some of the best ways for me to get people onto my list.
Right.
But once they're on my list, I'm doing like daily sales, man. Like I'm sending
Yeah.
people like blah 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 blah. Now go buy this. Blah 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 blah. Go buy this, and they're okay with it.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I think anyone who's actually looking at probably building their own website and sort of monetizing it through a certain way, I think email marketing is the first thing that you should do and collect their
Yeah.
database, because you never know when Facebook or Insta or any of them might
They can
change.
change the
Like,
rules.
yeah, change the rules and you're gone. Right. So
You know what? I'm going to go one step further and say that maybe you don't even need a website. You just need a place like, let's say, card.co. I think that's what CARRD.co, where you can just set up your list. Or if you're having, let's say, MailChimp, right? You can set up just an email form or a landing page, and
yeah,
you get that
a landing
URL.
page. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and you can just send people anywhere, man. Like
Right.
from Twitter, from Facebook, or like when, let's say, for example, you're getting interviewed on a webinar, you can just say, "Hey, go to epiccareerlabs.com/join," and voila. Only thing, you have to be shameless.
Okay.
Sometimes we like to. Is it that time yet, Kudu?
Okay, okay. Yeah, you can go. So the song that, ladies and gentlemen, Arvind and I both love. So go ahead,
Smoke shisha,
play
play
FIFA.
FIFA. So shisha, play FIFA. Smoke shisha, play FIFA. Big shout out to JordIndian, because
Yeah.
it's not like this is going to be making any difference for them. But I just realized that this is pretty much the song that would be exactly like Kudu and me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely like the fat Indian guy, and I'm the slim
Oh,
JordIndian.
okay.
I'm the one who's been in the Middle East. What the hell's your problem? Of course. And his dad's the one who's probably going to kick his ass. So, dude, remember we used to do Digi podcast?
Yeah, yeah. So that was my next question. What do you think? So we did Digi podcast. So people out there, we did a podcast series called Digi Podcast, which was about marketing and advertising topics. Like, we used to pick up topic each episode and talk about it in detail. So what do you think, Gundu? Is it going to be like the podcasting industry in India? Where is it at right now? What do you think is the future?
All right. Before we begin, one very, very important story for you to know. In that very room that Kudu is sitting right now, I have taken about 15 kilos worth of stuff, including microphones.
At 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning?
7:30. Mama is 6:30. I left my
6:30,
house.
yeah, 6:30 in the morning. Yeah.
He stays somewhere in North Bangalore. I stayed somewhere near Banageta Road, and I brought all of that on a motorcycle. Or was it in the car? I don't remember.
No, it was in the car. It was in the car.
It was in the car, right? Yeah. And just so that because he had a very, very suboptimal recording system. So
I still do.
good stuff. Yeah,
I still.
Some people never learn. As far as podcasting goes, I think it's definitely going to be on a huge. Definitely, it's going to be it's going to be huge in India, especially when you have guys like Anchor. I think that's been bought over by Savan. Spotify and Savan. They've also kind of there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening there, right? Plus, thanks to the Geo dudes, we have like tons and tons of internet. Now, here's the biggest challenge that I see in terms of content. Okay, just during this. If you're watching this in the future, this is being recorded during the coronavirus lockdown. As a result, even lockdown conversations, there are about 1 million more of these that have just launched.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping that Kudu will take the sensible editorial decision and end it after like season 2 or 3.
I will.
Maybe porting.
No.
Yes, thank you. Because it's called Lockdown Conversations.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
point is this, right? Just so much of clutter. And for you to step out of the clutter, right, it's going to be quite a challenge. Not in the traditional sense, right? Look, for you to be successful as a creator and as somebody who's going to be creating videos or
Mhm.
podcasts or something, you don't need like 3 million fans. That surely is nice. But if you can find your true audience, even if it's just like about like 300 people instead of like 3 million, you can still make like a decent sum of money if that
So,
is your
so does that mean for brands out there, would it make sense to invest in probably their own podcast series?
I think the first investment that brands need to make is in a personality. Okay. And I think most brands out there are vapid. They tend to pander to the audience. They believe that, look, I'm not doubting them. They're obviously putting money where it's working, right?
Yeah.
But eventually there is going to be burnout. Eventually there is going to be the situation where one brand is going to be, it's like the tragedy of the lowest common denominator sort of a thing, right? You're
Right.
just going to be into that. You're just going to be dumbing down so much that it doesn't necessarily flow. Whereas some other brands like, I'm not able to remember, but let's say Red Bull, for example, right? Or Nike. Nike has stuff
Or
for
Coke,
like,
for that matter. Coke is,
or
Coke is
yeah,
a good
Coke.
example. Yeah.
Coke's a good example. Each one has a very distinct personality. One of the what is that? 8 Finger Eddie. That's a great brand, right? It's very memorable. It has a personality, and there's that Trader Joe's based out of Canada. That's another good example. Now, the limitations that most brands operate under becomes stifling in many places, and that's why personally for me, after years and years of attempts at entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
my mantra this time is to go solo. So because it's just me and unfiltered me. So
That can have its repercussions, by the way. Okay, so just
and
telling
I
you.
wanted to thank
Okay.
you for saying that, because
Yeah.
you know what, if you're not polarizing, okay, in a good way, you don't exist. Look, the biggest problem is not people hating you or loving you. The biggest problem is people not giving a bleep about you. Okay,
Absolutely. Agree.
that's the essence.
Agree.
One of the things, Noam Chomsky, his books, his essays, his videos, every advertising and marketing person needs to listen to that, because that's all about propaganda, and marketing is propaganda, but for your brand. So
Agreed. Agreed. So coming to your favorite section, which is books that you would recommend. Okay.
dude,
Just
favorite
one.
बोल के बिरयानी नहीं बोला
Just
तूने.
make the biryani.
Bhai with biryani. Naam bolo. Next
Okay.
question. One
So
book.
one book that you would recommend for this following people. Okay. First time readers.
War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It talks about how there's this concept called the resistance, and that's out to screw you up no matter what you're trying to do, and how you solve it by being a professional. That is to turn up and do the work even when you don't feel like it.
Okay. Okay.
Next.
Second, entrepreneurs.
The Hard Thing About Hard Things by some dude Horowitz. Horowitz. I don't remember his first name.
Okay.
The Hard Thing About Hard Things teaches you what you're getting into.
Okay. Third, my favorite topic, marketing folks. Now I'm listening very carefully.
Yeah. So I cannot just give one book, but if I had to,
No, you
the
have
one
to
that
give
I
one
gave
book.
you,
One book.
yeah, the one that I gave you and you never returned. Remember that one? What was that again? All
Just
marketers are liars.
Yeah,
Wait, no, all marketers are storytellers.
Seth Godin.
Seth Godin.
Yeah.
Seth Godin. I think. Yeah, that would have to be the one book.
I've never returned a lot of books actually. Right now, if I look
Yes.
at it behind us, so many.
Yes. I need Jelisil now. But there is a Persian proverb, isn't it? He who gives a book is a fool. He who lends a book is a fool.
Yeah.
He who returns a book is a bigger fool. Persians have some damn good proverbs now.
Yeah. Okay. For public speaking, because as you've been a part of Toastmasters and successfully won a lot of competitions, so which is one book.
I don't think there is a book that's going to help you with Toastmasters or public speaking, rather. I think
Right.
Toastmasters is the solution.
Right.
I am a product of the product, and I'm a very proud person when it comes to Toastmasters, because it has transformed me from a conniving, insecure little baby to slightly less conniving, insecure little baby. And I
Yes,
love the stage. I love the
yeah, you're
lights.
still the same.
I'm still
Go,
the
go.
same. But Toastmasters, and I have to make this plug because Toastmasters is not for me. It's a great place. It's a safe, secure, warm, supportive environment where you even get mentorship on how you can develop your communication and your leadership skills. Most of the clubs, not most, almost all the clubs now are in the time of lockdown meeting online, but you do get the option to meet them in person as well once this whole stuff kind of blows over.
Okay.
If it does.
Okay. Okay. The last book that you've read.
The last, are you ready for this? It's not Tamil fiction. Can you see it?
Monster Manual.
Yes, I am a dungeon master, and I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. Right now, my games are happening online.
Which is flowing on your website, by the way. So all your characters and all of that is coming.
Yeah. So Dungeons and Dragons, for those of you who don't know, is an experience similar to collaborative storytelling, but it is a game as well. And I, as the dungeon master, am the chief storyteller and referee. You and your friends as players will be placed into a world of my creation, wherein you can interact and roleplay, and anything is possible. Yeah, and we handle that with the roll of the dice that exists. And yeah, we have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
In fact, I have my session tomorrow on Sunday, 12 to 4 p.m.
Another plug. Okay. I think we're done.
It's not a plug. I'm not accepting any more people, I have like 7 players playing with me.
Okay. Biggest question everybody must be thinking right now: how does this guy earn money at the end of it?
You want the fun answer, or do you want the truth?
I want the truth. I want people to know the truth, or people who want to get into this to know the truth.
Question number 1: what is this?
This, the thing that you do.
What? I do so many things. That's kind of all right, guys. Crash course, stuff that you should know, stuff that's going to blow your mind. Again, right? You don't have to be stuck to one career in your life. Okay. The whole point is you have to be like Tarzan, me, ape strong. No, not that kind of Tarzan, but the Tarzan who's swinging from one wine to the other. Okay. Think of each wine as a career that you're having, right?
Yeah.
What you want to do is you want to grab onto that next wine before you let go of this one. So you can, and I have done this. I am living testament that you can start off in one career and you can build on that momentum that you get from that first career, move on to the second. I started off with IT. I used that to design websites for advertising. And from advertising, I was able to make a move into sales. From sales, I was able to make a move into marketing. From there into personal development. From there into career coaching, whatever you want to say. Anything is possible as long as you realize you can have multiple careers. That's number 1. Number 2,
which you do right now.
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm doing gamification. As of this is May, right? So as of April, I had a world rank number 22 when it came to gamification. This is run by Rise Global,
right?
And they rank all the gamification experts in the world. I was number 22 out of like 800 or so. I'm doing gamification. That's one. Another thing I'm doing is consulting in terms of marketing. I'm doing consulting in terms of user experience. And then, of course, I'm running and launching my own online business of epiccareerlabs.com.
I think that's wonderful, Arvind. So all of you who's actually waiting to sort of take that step, right, to entrepreneurship. So I think what he did was he took baby steps initially. He went into probably also giving out lectures first, and then he kind of tried that. Coaching was another aspect that he ventured into, and then as and when he formed his company, that's when he actually dove into it full-fledged. So I think multiple options, keep it open so that
may I add one more thing here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the easiest way, if you're trying to make your shift right from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, is to realize that there are like maybe 3 things that you need to do. 1, figure out what are your expenses and have enough money to last you about a year or so. Okay, that's number 1.
I think 6 months was the one, but okay, year is fair.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know how things are going to like suddenly if you have like Corona striking.
Yeah, year is safe now.
Yeah. Number 2, always have a cover story, right? So what I mean by that is you're always able to communicate what you are trying to do in the aspect of, let's say, in case this stuff doesn't pan out, what is the future job that you want to hold, right? That's number two. Number three, before you quit your current job, do all the other work that you need, right? To figure out your marketing plan, to test out your ideas, to figure out, how can you actually go ahead, promote this, to build out that audience, to start your own platform, whatever these things are. You can do all of these things while you're at work.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be stopping you.
I think another important thing, Arvind, I'd mention is, I know you'd sort of vouch for this as well. You need to have a mission statement, right? So your mission statement is, I am on a mission to give 52 talks about gamification in 2020. I'd love to deliver this free talk at your company, right? So that's on your website is what I pulled out. So a mission statement for yourself is very important for entrepreneurs as well.
True. So here's the thing, right? When you have a mission, right, it helps you in twofold. One, it lets you know where you're going, right? So you know what's the goalpost that you're gunning for.
Yeah.
The other one is it also allows people to rally to what you are saying, to what you are sharing. That makes a big difference. And there's nothing stopping you from having multiple missions, right? Like, for example, that mission, Guru, is what I want to do in the space of gamification. Now, when I'm looking at the space of careers, the mission that I have is I want to make like 1,000 entrepreneurs from India understand and believe that their geography is not their destiny. Like, just because we were born in India, just because we are here in India, we're not living in a fancy place like Norway or Sweden or Japan. It doesn't mean that we can't have a better quality of life.
Absolutely.
What I intend to do,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Prove it, and then get others along to understand that they can do it themselves.
I agree to that completely. And
of course you do.
Also, I think what happens is, if you have those multiple mission statements set up, as an entrepreneur, say the first month you're really gunned up and you actually go out there with full josh, and the second month you kind of, again, so this mission statement
Josh dies by third month.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're looking at your bank balance, like, drop down from, like, let's say 5 digits. Is it 5 digits? Yeah. From 6 digits to 5 digits, you're like, holy shit. I don't. Oh, sorry.
I remember the time when the payment cycle used to be from
15th used to be the most horrible.
Paying out salaries.
I still remember the conversation we would have, like, Macha, next month, how are you going to pay salaries down?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, crazy stuff. But see, this is what I'm talking about, right? Once this time this is not like Stockholm syndrome, by the way, right? But once the time has passed, when we look back upon this, we have good stories to tell. Compare this, okay, to somebody else who's been in a job day in, day out. Yes, they have a fat bank balance. Yes, they have a fancy house. Yes, they have a fancy car. I have a Wagon-R that's dented and has a sticker saying, chill, we could be stuck in Gurgaon. Okay?
Yeah. What featured as well.
Got featured as well, right? But the point is this, right? We have stories, and I think for each one of us, we need stories that, like, money can come and go. Okay, I'm not saying that you don't need money. I definitely say that you need money.
Yeah.
You need to have enough, but these stories, these are the things that are going to be, like, Macha, remember the time when, and then let's say like 15 years later, when we talk about this, I'm still going to be starting the story where I met you when you had your junk in your hands, right? So this is memorable. This is what people care about.
Yeah. It's good stuff, Arvind. So thank you so much. And the last question before I let you go is, would you get back into working again for somebody else, or would you, now that you've started working for yourself, is it working for yourself versus someone else? So how would that be for you now? I know it's a little difficult to answer that, right?
Yeah, no, I think about this, like when I wake up with cold sweat at 3 a.m, thinking, holy shit, did I order milk for tomorrow? That's usually the stuff that keeps me awake now. But the point is this, there are two factors to this, okay? One is I have given myself a certain cutoff, after which I have decided that I'm not going to be going after entrepreneurship again, okay? There is a reason. This is my 4th attempt, and I have a family to take care of, right? If there are things that are lacking in me, I will accept it, okay? I'm one side is what is that quote from The Wheel of Time? Death is lighter than a feather. Duty is heavier than a mountain. When you think about this, I have a duty towards my parents, towards my family, my wife, and my baby girl. Okay. there's only so much. When my daughter is going to start going to school, and if I can't pull my weight, right, it is unfair for me to thrust all of this responsibility on my wife or to freeload off my parents. I'm not saying I won't like it. I'm just saying it's wrong.
No.
Okay?
I get it. And the point that he's trying to make is that you should know when to stop, right?
Yeah.
I think Kevin O'Leary also in Shark Tank mentions this, that if it's a bad idea, shoot the dog outside. You should know when to take the dog outside and shoot it. So I think that's what entrepreneurs
Please
need to
don't kill
learn.
dogs. I love dogs. In fact, I have a home in Sakarnagar that I've actually let out to this NGO called Let's Live Together in Bangalore.
Okay.
Another shameless plug, but it's an NGO that takes care
No,
of
NGO
dogs.
plugs are allowed, so it's okay. So
Yeah?
NGO plugs are allowed.
Okay. Yeah, then totally check them out. Let's Live Together. And they're on Insta. They're kind of big there,
Okay.
but they definitely find homes for doggies.
Okay.
Cute doggies.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Very
you.
cute doggies.
Thank you so much, Arvind, for
Super cute.
for-
You want to do that to the doggies.
thank you so much, Arvind, for spending
That's
time
what they
with
might
us.
say too.
Okay, I would link.
Dude, we didn't talk about veg shawarma and biryani much. Huh? You
No,
let me
we
down.
ran out of time. So just,
How much more time do we have?
no, I think we shot like quite a bit, 40 minutes or something, or maybe 40.
Okay, fine. Let's just quickly rank the top 5 biryani places in Bangalore, and then we call it quits because
Okay.
we can't.
Number one would be Meghna.
Ignas.
Number two would
Star.
Rahams. Rahams is number two.
Rahams is good. Rahams is good as well.
Rahams is good. Number three
I'm a
would be-
vegetarian, by the way.
Number three.
Talpakati is actually quite nice, Macha.
Which one? Okay, the one that.
It's newly opened up.
Which one was the one that we had? Asif, was it? Asif was the one.
No, we had Star. No, the one in
Star.
Naganagar.
Star was also
Star.
good. Yeah.
Star is good. Yeah,
That's good. Shivajinagar Taj Biryani.
I've never been there.
Number three.
Never been there. Is that the one near the passport office?
No, in Shivajinagar Chowk, there's another one.
Okay, no. Macha, there is a good one called Zaitun.
Zaitun Island.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're also good.
Oh,
Good.
Last.
My family, yeah, we had a 5. Okay, na?
Oh, no, fifth one. Which one?
5th one.
I'll give that to you. You're vegetarian.
I don't want to say paradise because I find it a bit bland for my taste.
No,
but
Paradise.
I would.
Nagarjuna was already done.
Nagarjuna, yeah,
No?
okay.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm going to go with Parkview. Okay.
Interesting.
Parkview is a pure veg restaurant in JP Nagar, but they're not paying me to say this. But hey, it's like a moped. You enjoy
Parkview
it. You
will
don't
pay
want
you.
to let anybody
Influencer.
want
LinkedIn.
you ride a moped. Anyway, thank you for this opportunity, Kunbir, and I
Thank
wanted
you.
to wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much, and it's been absolute fun, Arvind. And I think a lot of people out there who want to actually are thinking of diving into this. You've got a lot of tips from Arvind as well. So think about it. I'll leave the links in the link in the description below, so you can check them out as well. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions for Arvind, please do write to me. I will pass it on to Arvind as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Arvind saying over and out.
Smoke shisha, play FIFA. It's okay, smoke shisha, play FIFA with my